Hello, friends, and welcome to another video lesson from DBOS Talks. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click subscribe and click the bell so as to be notified of new uploads. This video is in the playlist called SQL Concepts Clarified, and here we'll be learning the difference between union and union all, which is in Oracle SQL, also used in other flavors of SQL. Okay, so a union command is used to join the output of multiple queries, so two or more queries, the outputs of which are getting joined. And there are just a couple of rules that must be followed to make this work. The first is that the queries must, okay, I'll just put them here. So just my own words. First is that the queries must have the same number of columns being selected. So in the select list, you must have the same number of columns. If you are comparing the first query, second query, etc., they must have the same number of columns or expressions in the select list. Second is that the columns being selected must be of the same data type and length in the sequence that they appear in the select statement. Okay. And one good news is that it doesn't require the column names to match exactly the same between across the different queries you are using. Okay, as long as you satisfy both of these two, then you're good to go. Okay, so that's your union or union all. Let's look at two tables that we have in here. Okay, let's look at employees table. Select asterisk from employees table, and then we see there are 5 records in that. Okay, and then let's also take a look at a second table called employees backup. And remember, the first one had or has 5 rows. The second one, emp backup, also has 5 rows. Okay, so right now, we will not go into the details of how similar or different they are, just enough that we know that the first table has 5 rows, the second one also has 5 rows. Okay, and now we will try the union. So what will happen is that you will put a union command in between these two select statements so that effectively it becomes one statement, one long statement. So select asterisk from employees, union, select asterisk from emp backup. Okay. For that, let's try union all, not union. Okay, let's try this one so you can get a better perspective. This is just my approach. So select statement up here, and then you use union all, and then the select statement. There's only one terminator at the very end, and then let's see. Remember, it's 5 rows and then 5 rows. So when I execute this, it may not be visible, all of them, but you can see also here in the console, you can see all rows fetched, 10. Otherwise, you can right click on the grid and then click on the count rows. It will tell you there are 10 rows in there. So 10 rows because it's a very simplistic join of the two outputs. Remember, the first table has 5 rows and the second one also has 5 rows. So 5 rows plus 5 rows equals 10 rows. Okay, so that is what union all is doing. It's simply joining the outputs, not really concatenating, but joining the outputs, appending them, so that they come up as one big output. Okay, that's union all. Now let's try union so you can see the difference. I'll remove the all keyword here in the same statement. So everything else is the same. It's selecting from both two of the same tables we have queried from earlier, except that I removed the all keyword. Okay, instead of union all, it's now union. Now, when we do this selection, you notice that instead of the 10 rows we were getting previously, now we're only getting 7. Okay, 7 rows. And here you will see the difference between the union all and the union. So actually the union all, which is the one we used earlier, allows duplicates. When I say duplicates, I mean duplicate rows, meaning the entire row, all the columns in that row are getting compared to another row. That's what I mean with duplicate. Not just duplicate in one or multiple columns, but really all the columns in that table must exactly match the values in another row. Okay, row to row, they are duplicates. That's what I mean by duplicate. So the union all allows duplicate rows, whereas the union removes the duplicates. That's the main difference. That's why the union all gives you 10 rows, while the union gives you 7 rows. Now let's look a little bit deeper into this so we can prove the theory. It's not really a theory, just prove to you that this is how it works, the union and the union all. Let's revisit the 10 rows by using the union all. At the same time, I'm just adding in here an order by 1, which is order by the first column of the selection, which is the emp ID. So I've done union all, and just like earlier, you've seen it gives you 10 rows, it gives us 10 rows, but this time I ordered them according to the emp ID. 1 here is the ordinal number of the column, which is in this case, the first column in that table is emp ID. So they are sorted by emp ID. So we can easily see which ones are duplicated and which are not. So if we look at this, you will notice that we will find 3 rows which are having complete duplicates. So which are these? We have this one, Ruiz Mark. If you look at this, the value of that from end to end, I mean, all the columns of that row, they match between this and this. Ruiz, Mark, Calma, etc., etc. Everything matches. That's a duplicate. The second duplicate we see is this 7 and 8. Cruz, Alicia, Gibson, everything matches all the way to the end, all columns. So again, when I say duplicate, I mean the row, the entire row, all the columns in it, the values are being looked up and they're being compared to another row. So they are duplicates. There are duplicates between these two. And the third I see is this one, Tan Matthew. So I click on this, I highlight them for you to see. So these 2 rows are also have duplicate values all the way. So for all columns of that row, there exists a duplicate row having the same values for all those columns. Okay, so that's what I mean duplicates. So that is because we're using union all. And if I will remove the all keyword from the statement and then execute this again, then it will give me 7, which is effectively removing any duplicate rows found by SQL. Okay, so again, that is 10 rows with the duplicates minus the 3 duplicates. It becomes 7. That's why we have 7 only in this output using the union command. So that's the main difference between union all and union. Okay, so just before we go, I'd like to mention to you or highlight to you why would certain companies, certain teams, why would certain people use union and why would others use union all? What's the difference? So besides the fact that union all allows duplicates, whereas the other doesn't. The difference here is that the union all, which allows duplicates, will give you a better performance. If it is a small data set being fetched by this query, it doesn't really matter. But we're talking about maybe thousands, big thousands of rows being fetched and being being fetched from database, then you could see substantial or significant differences in the performance. So if you are going for performance as a priority, then you would probably go for union all, which allows duplicates. As long as you're okay with the visual thing, allowing duplicates. Of course, it could cause confusion in somebody looking at the data. Okay, so you have that balance. You have to weigh your pros and cons on this one, choosing when to use union and when to use union all. Okay, that's it, folks. And thank you for watching and listening. If you have subscribed, please click subscribe, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.